Hey guys, it's Chef from Pressure Luck, and what happened to my face? Oh my gosh, I totally shaved and I just went into a mustache, and it's gotta kind of come in on its own if I really want to keep it. And I know some people are gonna say, get rid of it, it looks terrible on you. Others might say nice things, but I'm not sure what I'm gonna do. I guess it's my face, so I'll figure it out, but we'll see. I definitely feel like I look a little older, but I guess it goes with the I don't know. We'll find out. But that being said, all mustaches aside, shaving is a topic here. And this recipe, what we're about to do, we're about to make ribs. Not just any kind of ribs, but it's all about shaving the time off of everything here. This recipe can be made in 10 ingredients or less, not many at all. In fact, you can even make it in 3 ingredients. I can count, I promise I can count. So one of my favorite cuisines in the world, which is no secret at this point, is Asian fare, specifically Chinese food. And I love me some barbecue spare ribs when I go for Chinese. Also known as Char Siu. It looks like Char Siu, but it's Char Siu. I think I'm pronouncing that right, and if I'm not, I apologize, and please do correct me in the comments. And it's this wonderful, like, sweet, smoky style barbecue sauce that we put on the ribs, and we're gonna make them in the Instant Pot. Like I said, 10 ingredients or less, or as low as 3. I mean, seeing is believing, and tasting is believing. Let's go right to the Instant Pot and make some magic happen with some Char Siu Chinese style ribs. Spare ribs. I'm gonna tell them spare ribs. Chinese style spare ribs. Let's do it. This is seriously the easiest thing ever. All I want to do is go to my Instant Pot, add in the trivet, whether it be the one that it came with, or you can add your own silicone trivet, that's fine, keep the handles up. And then I want to take a whole rack of ribs. You could even use 2 ribs or even 3 if you're using an 8-quart. This is a 6-quart pot. You can use either baby back ribs or you can use St. Louis style ribs. And I just want to put them in the pot and coil, just like this. If you were using 2 racks, you can coil it within, around it, however it fits, but you see how it coils nicely. And now for our liquid, I like to use apple juice for this. You can use either an entire 64-ounce bottle, or you can just use about 2 cups. If you use the entire bottle, which I do for my original baby back rib recipe, just be prone that it'll take a little bit longer to come to pressure, but it does infuse the ribs with even more flavor since it's going completely into the ribs, and you can save the leftover apple juice for another time if you want to make more ribs, another batch, freeze it, whatever you want. Or you can just go with about 2 cups, and you don't even have to measure this out. You can just go by eye. Just have enough so it comes right up to the trivet, and you should be fine. I'm just going to do that in this situation here. It's not going to be as infused the flavor, like I said, into the ribs, but it's still going to be delicious because really it's all about that Char Siu sauce marinade that we're about to make as soon as this begins to pressure cook. Alright, that's it guys. Literally 2 ingredients, ribs and apple juice. And if you don't want apple juice, by the way, you can use a cola if you'd like, or you can just use broth. It's really up to you. Just use some liquid. I do like the apple juice. Alright, I'm going to put my lid on top, secure it, make sure that it's in the sealing position, which some lids automatically will go into when you put them on top. Others, you might have to have your nozzle here and make sure it's in the sealing position. Now I want to come down to the control panel and hit the pressure cook or manual button depending on your model. And I want to go on this for 25 minutes if I have about 1 rack of ribs in there, between 2 to 4 pounds. And I want to go for 30 minutes if I have 2 racks of ribs in there. And you know, if you have 3 racks, you could probably go for 30 or 35 minutes. That's fine. A good way to look at it is 25 minutes for 1 rack, 30 minutes for 2, and 35 for 3. Hit the start button now if your model has one. If it doesn't, it'll start on its own. And as I usually do for almost every single one of my recipes, it's at high pressure. So we're just gonna step away now and we're gonna make that Char Siu amazingness. Now while the ribs are pressure cooking, now is the perfect time to make that fantastic Char Siu sauce. Now, if you don't want to make it with all of these very simple to find ingredients and make your own, which is going to be absolutely delicious, you can skip this entire step and just buy a jarred Char Siu from any Asian market really, or even online, and you can just skip all of this. But I want to show you how you can make your own. It's delicious, and again, these are all easy to find ingredients. I have a half a cup of hoisin sauce, a quarter of a cup of oyster sauce. I'm going to use a quarter of a cup of honey. It's just easier to squeeze it directly in there. I'm also going to add in a tablespoon of sesame oil, 3 tablespoons of Shaoxing cooking wine, that's a Chinese wine, or you can use sherry wine, that's fine too. 3 tablespoons of soy sauce, tamari, or coconut aminos. That's up to you, whichever one you'd wish to use. I'm actually using low sodium soy sauce, as well as 3 tablespoons of a dark brown sugar and 1 tablespoon of Chinese 5-spice. That's this stuff right here. You can find this in most regular markets, either in the spice section or in the Asian section. Or it'll be in any Asian market, or you can get it online. Alright, so let's just put this all in the bowl. And now I'm gonna just whisk this all up. And this is going to be the marinade for our ribs when they're done. We're going to slather this all over the ribs, give it an optional broil, maybe top with some sesame seeds, and then we're ready to serve. Now, a final step to make this a nice red color like a lot of Char Siu has is to add about 1/4 cup of a red food dye. It's completely optional, it's just a color thing. I'm going to add, like I said, about 1/4 cup. I'm just going to squeeze it in there. I'm sorry, 1/4 teaspoon, not 1/4 cup. 1/4 cup is way too much. 1/4 teaspoon. No more than that. And then I'm gonna whisk that up. And it's hard to tell right now, but when I put it on the ribs, you're gonna see there's a really nice red tinge to it. You can kind of see it on the sides here. Gorgeous. All right, now we're just gonna sit down and relax and enjoy, read a book, and the ribs will be done in just a second. And now that we're done pressure cooking, we're going to allow a 5-minute natural release. Then we'll finish that off with a quick release. And you'll see when this counts up to 5, that's when it's going to be ready to do that quick release. And by the way, always make sure your keep warm button is on when you pressure cook in order for it to go right into this function. Otherwise, if you don't, it's just gonna stop and it won't start to count up and it won't keep the food warm per se. It's not gonna affect your natural release really in the long run, but it's nicer to have a timer seeing it go up on here. So don't go far, 5 minutes. Just, do a few push-ups for about what you're about to eat. And now that 5 minutes of a natural release have passed, we're gonna finish that off with a quick release. And now that the pin is dropped, I'm going to take the lid off the pot. So by the way, I should have said this before, because I know people will ask. No, I did not peel the membrane, which is like a film layer that kind of holds it together better when it cooks. Because 2 things now. One, it's going to be beyond tender when you get this out of there. I mean, you could pull these bones out of the ribs themselves. Like you could pull them out and make like a McRib sandwich or something like that, whatever. And number 2, it doesn't look so gorgeous right now. It isn't the prettiest looking thing. That is all about to change in a matter of moments. Okay, so let's do some surgery here. The easiest way that I find to remove this is to take 2 sets of tongs and to grab on, and then we're gonna transfer our ribs to either a cutting board if you wanna just slather on that Char Siu now, or you can do a little bit of a broil step. I preheated my oven to broil, and I'm gonna transfer the ribs to a pan with a wire rack on it, but you can also just put it on a pan with some foil that you spray with nonstick spray or some parchment paper. Okay, and here I go, wire racks on a baking sheet here, and this is perfect. Again, the ribs aren't gonna look gorgeous right now, but it's all gonna change. All right, let's sauce these ribs up with that delightful Char Siu sauce that I made while the ribs were pressure cooking, or again, you could skip that step and just buy a jar of it already made from a good Asian market. And then we're going to just completely baste them all over our ribs. So this is gonna make for about 2 ribs worth, I'd say. And you can just literally just use how much you want it now by pouring some out. Some people will say you shouldn't go back and forth on the meat, even though it's cooked into it. You'll contaminate it. So you should just take out exactly what you're gonna use. And I'm gonna really generously brush this all over my ribs. And you see that red color coming through now. Be very generous here. It's almost like a painting. Leave it no crevice unturned. Really slather those ribs in this glorious marinade. And then we can save any leftover also at the very end for putting some on top. All right, gorgeous. And like I said, you can either serve it just as it is now, or you can give it a little bit of a broil with this marinade's going to caramelize. So I'm gonna pop this in the oven, it's at broil. I can also baste it on there again. It's completely up to you how much you wanna put on there. This will give it the ultimate premium finish. Okay, and there it is, and I'm putting it on the top rack. 10 minutes, check on it. You wanna check on it, you don't want it to burn. All ovens vary. And now I'm gonna take them out of the oven, and oh yeah, that's perfect. 5 minutes is actually all I needed. I checked on it, and that looks great. It's a little bit of a cha on there, but it's Char Siu. I love that. That is awesome, almost like it was grilled. And I'm just gonna top it off with a little extra marinade, and then we're gonna serve this up. All right, so I've just transferred this to my wooden cutting board, which is actually the greatest idea, in my opinion, to cut this on. But first, I'm gonna slather it with some additional marinade, because I like to give it as much as possible. Really make it nice. Glorious. And you have some marinade left over, like I said, so this is really perfect for 2 sets of ribs, in my opinion. If you're gonna do 3, add in another half the amount of the ingredients for the Char Siu sauce. All right, so now it's time to slice this up, which is why I have this on a wooden cutting board. And then we're just gonna slice right through this, and it's gonna be so tender. Look at that, right off the, oh my gosh. Look at how easy this slices. Look at how beautiful this is. Look at how easy this was to do. No grilling either. Which makes perfect sense since I'm releasing this in the summer, right? Goes to show you how unbelievable the Instant Pot is and how it's almost boundless in its limitations. And after you slice them up again, you could add more of the marinade if you want. In my opinion, you can't have too much of this amazingness. You can even get it on the sides. Paint your ribs. And then for extra effect, if you want to add some sesame seeds to them, by all means, feel free to do so. Because why not? Sesame seeds always work. Okay, my friends, let's do this up. And here we have it. One of these gorgeous, beautiful ribs. Look at how beautiful this is. True test right here. Okay. This is just silly. Something could taste so good that it's silly. This is silly. It's silly because of how easy this was to make and how the payoff is beyond unbelievably delicious. Oh my gosh. It's a good thing, by the way, that I have a mustache only at this point because it would have gotten all over my face. This is a very messy food. So tender. So delicious. I gotta get Richard. Richard, come up here and try it. And you could honestly just do this in 3 ingredients if you want. 3, that's right. If you just do the apple juice, the ribs, and you do the pre-made char siu that you can buy in a jar, and you leave out the sesame seeds, that's 3 ingredients. And if you want sesame seeds, that's 4. So even if you do it by making the sauce, you can do this in 10 ingredients or less. And this is easy peasy. And let me tell you, simplicity never tasted so delicious. Right down to the bone. I mean, for me with ribs, I'm a waste not, want not kind of guy. I literally eat every single piece of meat that's possible off this bone, like a dog would do, like Banjo would do. You see that? Clean. Nice and clean. All right, Richard's here. I mean, Richard, you have to try these ribs. Come here, Richard. Say hi to everybody.
Hello.
His glasses are tinted because he was just outside.
I have those old man glasses.
That's all right. That's all right. Take one of these ribs. Take the one that speaks to you. Right.
This one speaks to me.
And give that a try and see what you think of that.
That's like Chinese ribs. Like,
yeah, exactly. Char Siu. Char Siu. I'm having another one.
These are amazing.
You know what's so awesome about them? They weren't grilled. And I know grilling is great and everything like that, but you can do this when it's not summer. And, you know, they're not going to dry out because they were done in the Instant Pot. That little charred edge when we broiled it, just be mindful. You don't want it to get burned, but the charred edge just when it's on the brink of getting there, you can't beat that flavor. It's so good. The marinade is delicious, isn't it?
Very, very good. Very good.
I love them. I love them. I just love doing ribs in the Instant Pot. It's so few ingredients. The payoff is huge. I'm talking with my mouth full. I probably shouldn't be doing that. But you approve, right?
I approve, yes.
Okay, as long as you approve.
You're self-conscious about my chewing.
That's okay. You go and enjoy yourself and you have fun outside while I finish this video and clean up all this mess. Guys, if you enjoyed this video and all the recipes that I put out, check out PressureLoveCooking.com because I have a ton of them there. It's still so weird to see my face with a mustache on it, and I know I'm gonna get hate for it because there are gonna be people who say, you look older, it doesn't work on you, shave it, whatever, but what am I gonna do at this point? There's always gonna be somebody who says something like that. In case you also didn't know, I wrote not 1, not 2, but 3 cookbooks, almost like a rainbow of color here. I have the original, the orange, which is the international bestseller, the blue one, which is lighter, which is an international bestseller, and now the yellow one, which is all comfort food, which is an international bestseller. I mean, my babies. I'm so proud because I feel like one would feel sad if they didn't catch up with the others, you know? You could also go to PressureLoveCooking.com where I just update you on fun stuff, deals, when the books are on sale, tips, all that. They always usually are on a great sale though, by the way. And, you know, at Pressure Love Cooking to follow me on YouTube, Instagram, all the other stuff. Thank you so much again, my friends. And the next time, if you want some ribs and you just don't know what to do, fire up that Instant Pot and do it Char Siu. Enjoy.